Have you ever felt like your life was out of control? Like things kept happening to you that you didn't prefer? That you couldn't understand why so many other people around you were experiencing joy, abundance, and success, and you weren't? Or simply that you believed that you were so much more capable of the things that you were doing? Well, if you have, then this next course is probably for you, because I'm going to tell you the key concepts to taking total control of your life and give you the foundation that will help you to succeed and to achieve goals that you never even thought possible before. So I hope that you'll stick around, because this class is about taking 100% responsibility for your life. So I see you've decided to stick around. That's great. I'm excited for you. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that moving forward from here, the things and concepts that I'm going to teach you, they're pretty easy. They're kind of easy to understand and actually kind of easy to apply, but they're not comfortable. So let's go ahead and get into it. And let's see how you can start to take 100% responsibility for your life and see massive changes in the way that things are happening around you. In order to truly see change in your life, you have to take 100% responsibility for everything that is going on in your life, whether you like it or not, whether it's good or whether it's bad. You have to understand that you have power in everything that is going on, and you have to reclaim that power. Now, how do you do that? You do that through taking responsibility. Now, a lot of times when people think of the word responsibility, they think of the word fault. If I take responsibility, I'm saying that it's my fault. You're not saying it's your fault. What you're saying is that you have the ability to respond to the events around you, vice reacting as you always had. If you look at the term responsibility more as response ability, the ability in which to respond, then you'll understand that it's more about you being a tree in a storm, able to weather it, than being, I don't know, I'm from Florida, than being a piece of wood or a rock that's like whipped up and thrown around, right? Nobody likes their lives to be thrown around. Nobody wants to feel like they're in the center of chaos. And oftentimes as we go through life, that's kind of what it is. We're reacting to this and to this and to that. Instead, I want you to be mindful about your responses. I want to read something to you. I think that it holds true to what responsibility truly is. Responsibility is the ability to be mindful of ourselves and the beliefs that we hold, the thoughts that we have, and the actions we take in the presence of internal and external stimuli. It involves being grounded, centered, and mindful in our ability to concisely, I'm going to keep going, to concisely and deliberately choose our responses with intention and care. It means that we understand what's going on in our mind, our heart, and our exterior circumstances. We understand that there are bigger things at play, and we guard our responses to be in tune with those. Now we're going to talk about how do you actually control your responses. Well, the first way that you control your responses is to understand what part they play in the things that you do and the outcomes that you have. I want to provide you with a simple equation. Believe me, it's not too much math. A simple equation that will help you to more conceptually understand where your responses fall in making the outcomes. The equation is E plus R equals O. Now, what does that mean exactly? The events in your life, which are neutral, plus your responses, which you have control over, will equal your outcomes, which will eventually become the next events in your situation. Let's say there's something going on in our life. We have a couple of options. We can either blame the E, which would be the weather, economy, lack of money, lack of education, racism, gender bias, government officials, parents, spouses, bosses' attitude, employees, doctors, social standing, genes, astrological signs, Mercury rising, or society. But when you blame the E, you're not doing anything about the situation. You're very focused on the event, which is neutral. It's like trying to blame gravity for something. You don't see old people walking around being like, oh, gravity has me all hunched over. No, we play with gravity. We play basketball and football. We get joy out of gravity. We've learned how to fly. So what I'm saying is that you can't blame the E. Side note, I don't want to disregard the fact that these factors do exist and they're very prevalent in our society. They do have an impact on our life, but they are not the only factor. If they were the deciding factors, then nobody would ever succeed. Jackie Robinson wouldn't play Major League Baseball. Barack Obama wouldn't have been president. Denzel Washington and Sidney Poitier wouldn't have become famous actors. Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer would have never become senators. Bill Gates would have never founded Microsoft. Michelle Howard, Ann Dunwoody, Janet Wolfenbarger would have never earned 4 stars in our military. So you understand there are a lot of things that take effect, but for every reason that you're not successful, there are 100 people who have faced the same circumstances and are. So it's not your circumstances that are limiting you. It's you. You're limiting yourself. The second option you have is that you can change your response until you get the outcome that you desire. Your R is your point of power. You have to understand that once you reclaim this R, once you reclaim your thoughts, and you realize that you always have a choice, whether it be to leave or to change your attitude about the situation that you're in, whether it be to get more knowledge, more skills, to try something new. It doesn't matter what you decide your response is going to be, but you have to understand that you have power in that response. Look, later on we're going to talk about the emotional scale. A majority of negative emotions are based on the fact that people feel powerless. They blame other people for their problems. They feel anger and frustration towards them. But when you start to believe that you have power in your response and you have power in the outcome of the way that your life is going, then you start to believe that, to actually realize that you do have power. Even if things aren't going your way, the way that you would prefer them, you understand that eventually they're going to turn out right, because you're an unstoppable force. And you truly, truly have to believe that. And you may not believe that now, because really I'm going to talk about all the things you can change. But later on, you're going to realize that you are unstoppable, that you've overcome amazing things, and that you can accomplish so much more than you believe possible. Before I get into all the other amazing things that I'm going to teach you and all the great things we're going to talk about, let's keep moving on in this. If you want to change your R, you can change your thinking, you can change your communicating, your beliefs, behaviors, skill levels, habits, and expectations. Most of our responses are just habits or conditioned from society, and they've taken control of our lives. But we have to gain control of our thoughts, images, daydreams, dreams, and behaviors. Once we do this, we realize that everything we think, say, and do needs to become intentional and aligned with our purpose, our goals, and our values. When we align all of those things on a single focus, you can't be stopped. Nothing can stop you. All right, pop quiz. We all know that 2 + 2 = 4, right? So let's say that the world is giving you a 2 and you no longer want 4 as your outcome. Well, what do you have to give in order to get, let's say, a 10? That's right. You have to give 8. Your response has to be an 8 in order for you to get a 10 as an outcome. So this is pretty easy for us to understand. If the world is giving us a 2, if 2 + 2 = 4, if the world is giving us a 2, we have to be an 8 in order to get a 10. You have to change your response. One more test. It's a little test. Remember, I told you this was going to be easy. So let's say I walk up to you and I'm like, oh my God, holy cow, you've got green hair. Would you believe me? Would you run to the bathroom and check if your hair was green? Probably not. You would probably think I'm crazy. You would probably tell yourself that I might be having an eye problem because you know that your hair is not green. But what if I said something else? What if I told you you were ugly? What if I told you you were stupid? That you weren't good at your job? That you didn't perform up to par? That you weren't able to do something? That you couldn't dance? You were a bad parent? You sang badly? You were not qualified? You weren't a good writer? You were too fat, too old, too weak, too silly, too terrible, mean, not attractive, not artistic, not skilled? What if I told you you weren't the right fit? What if I told you you were a bad friend? What if I told you you were hard to deal with or cut from the team, that you needed to do better, that you were selfish? If I told you these things, they might affect your self-esteem unless you understand that it's not what I say to you, but what you say to yourself that really matters. You see, the way in which you absorb the things that come at you are your point of power. It doesn't matter what I say. It matters what you say to yourself. So how are you going to respond the next time that you're dealt with something that doesn't fit your beliefs? Side note, the thing is that a majority of times when people tell us these things, they hurt because somewhere within us, we believe them. That goes back to the point that your R also hinges on your beliefs. Whenever something comes up and it tings you, you have to realize how much of this is a belief that I subconsciously hold. You have to take back your power and stop giving it away to other people. We must give up all blaming, complaining, justifying, defending, and excuse making. You have to focus on your response. Whenever you feel like you have to defend, justify, or blame someone else, remember that you have responsibility in everything that goes on. You're the one who ate the junk food, who didn't say no, who stayed at the job, who took the job, who chose to believe them, who ignored your intuition, abandoned your dream, bought it, didn't take care of it, decided you have to do it alone, trusted them, and said yes to the situation. You have to realize that there are actions that you took that you can change in order to get new outcomes. Red, you don't understand. You don't get it. I do take responsibility for my life. I take a lot of responsibility for my life, but sometimes it's other people's fault. Sometimes I don't have any control over it. I get it. I completely get it. Sometimes it feels like you're already taking on as much responsibility as you can, but that there are things outside of your control. Here's the thing. What would it look like? What would it look like if you took 5% more responsibility? Let's say you don't want to take 100% for it, but what if you could take 5% more? I'm not even asking for 10. I'm just asking for 5. I normally don't even buy things on sale if they're not on sale for more than 5%, because to me, 5% is nothing. So we're going to go into some areas of your life and we're going to examine what if we were to take 5% more responsibility in just a few areas. What would that look like? What could we do? If you don't know me, my friends call me Red. So that was my impression of you talking to me on a friend level. So go ahead, get a piece of paper, notebook, pen, paper. Pause this video right now. Go get that because we're going to do some work. Did you pause me? If you did, you wouldn't be seeing this. But now that you came back, you would be seeing it. So we're going to move on because I'm going to assume that you have a pen and piece of paper ready to go. If I were to take 5% more responsibility for my life and well-being, what would that look like? What could you do? Well, if I were to take 5% more responsibility for my life and well-being, I could drink more water. I could actually set my goals because I haven't reviewed them in a while. I could maybe relax a little bit more or take a little bit more time off, rest, actually give myself the space and time to rest. I could take daily vitamins because I only take them so often. I could focus on my relationships with my parents and my family and my friends. Maybe the ones that I haven't been giving the same amount of attention. So this is an overarching question, but maybe we need to go a little bit more in depth or be a little bit more in tune to your specific areas of life. So let's say, what if I were to take 5% more responsibility on the attainment of my goals? Well, first of all, I would figure out what my goals were. Maybe I would set out action steps to attain those goals. I would start asking people in the fields that I'm interested in how they attain the goals. I would start to do research or watch YouTube videos on my goals. I would actually set deadlines for the things that I needed to do in order to accomplish those goals. Those are some things, and maybe you know a couple others, or you already have specific areas or goals that you're focused on. that you would like to see what you could do to attain 5% more responsibility in them. If I were to take 5% more responsibility for the successes of my relationship, so which relationships are important to you right now? Are they your kids? Are they your parents? Are they your friends? Are they your spouse? Are they the relationships with people at work? You could write each one of these out and identify areas in which you could take 5% more responsibility. Or you could simply just say relationships overall. I could listen more than I talk. I could ask more questions about individuals so that they tell me more about themselves. I could set out certain times to spend time with these individuals. I could set out, you know what I mean. I could call people. I could respond back to emails. I could say thank you. I could do my own appreciation for individuals even without telling them. I could forgive people who hurt me so that way I could have more meaningful relationships with people in the future. Right now, you have a piece of paper in front of you, hopefully with some ideas on places that you can take more responsibility in specific areas of your life. If you stick with me, I'll be putting out more videos that will help to align you with your goal's purpose and help you to define what success and happiness actually mean to you. Hopefully, you have some action steps that you can take forward and apply to your life. Hopefully, this was beneficial to you and you enjoyed hanging out with me and some of the things that we've done here. I look forward to seeing you again, and I look forward to your comments. If this was beneficial, I suggest that you subscribe and like this page so that you'll be updated when I put out new videos.